Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible political journey of Yogi Adityanath. We're talking about a man who went from a monastery to running India's most populous state. How does that even happen?
So yeah, how does a science student end up as one of India's most powerful politicians? Well, his story doesn't start in politics at all. It starts with a young guy from a small village, Ajay Singh Bisht, who was actually in the middle of his master's degree in mathematics. And then, in less than a year, his life just completely flips. He's taking care of his ailing uncle in Delhi, who invites him to join the Math. And then, he just disappears. Seriously, his family has no idea where he is. Months go by, and they find out from a newspaper that their son is now a monk, and not just any monk, but the chosen successor to this incredibly powerful spiritual seat. This one move sets him on a path to power that was basically paved for him by those who came before.
But look, to really get a grip on Adityanath's rise, you have to understand the institution he inherited. Because the Gorakhnath Math, well, it wasn't always the political powerhouse we know today. Not at all.
Originally, the Math was a pretty secular place. I mean, you had verses from the mystic poet Kabir on the walls, and it even had Muslim yogis as part of its community. But over the decades, something shifted. It went through this huge ideological transformation, turning into this, hardline hub for Hindutva politics. That's a form of right-wing Hindu nationalism.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You can see this clear line, this escalation of political activism from one leader to the next. It kicks off with Mahant Avaidyanath. This guy was accused in Gandhi's assassination plot and was right there at the center of placing idols inside the Babri Masjid. Then his successor, Avaidyanath, takes it even further. He becomes the chairman of the Ram Mandir Movement Committee. Suddenly, the Math is right at the heart of national politics.
So this new political focus wasn't just happening on a national level. Back home, it lit a fire under a local power struggle. You had the Mahet, which was the Thakur power base, going head-to-head with a rival Brahmin faction led by this strongman, Harshankar Tiwari. They were fighting for control of eastern UP, and the battleground was often Gorakhpur University. And we're not talking about simple debates here. This rivalry got violent, and it pretty much defined the politics of that whole region for decades.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. In 1997, a key Thakur leader gets assassinated, and bam, there's a power vacuum. And who steps right into that void? A young, aggressive Thakur monk named Yogi Adityanath. You see, he didn't just inherit a spiritual title, he inherited a full-blown political and social battlefield.
All right, so this brings us to our next big piece of the puzzle. Adityanath knew, pretty quickly, that to really win on this battlefield, he couldn't just lean on the Math's history or the BJP's official playbook. No, he needed his own power base.
So, in 1998, he takes over the parliamentary seat from his guru. And get this, he's only 26 years old. He becomes the youngest member of parliament in India. But, and this is a big but, he barely wins. His victory margin is tiny, which tells you his position was anything but secure.
So, to really cement his power, he does something pretty audacious. In 2002, he creates the Hindu Yuva Vahini. Now, you gotta understand, this wasn't some regular party youth wing. This was his own personal army, a street-level force that was loyal only to him. It was totally separate from the BJP and even its parent organization, the powerful Hindu nationalist group, the RSS.
And here's the proof in the pudding. Just look at the impact this had. In '99, like we said, he scrapes by with about 7,000 votes. Fast forward to 2004, just 2 years after he started the Hindu Yuva Vahini, his victory margin explodes to over 142,000 votes. That's a 20-fold increase. I mean, it's just a stunning demonstration of how effective his new organization was on the ground.
Now, having this kind of power base meant things often got confrontational. A perfect example? Gorakhpur, 2007. Tensions were already high, and during a Muharram procession, a clash breaks out and a young Hindu man is killed. The city was a tinderbox.
So what does Adityanath do? He completely defies a police ban on public gatherings and allegedly gives this incredibly fiery, inflammatory speech. You can see the quote right here. It just captures how charged the atmosphere was. And the result? The city just erupted in riots.
And the fallout from all this? He gets arrested for inciting violence and spends 11 days in jail. This becomes a huge defining moment for him. He even brought it up later in Parliament, breaking down in tears, claiming he was the one being politically targeted.
You know, throughout all this, his relationship with his own party, the BJP, was, let's just say it was complicated.
It was notoriously rocky. He was constantly clashing with the leadership, even putting up his own candidates to run against the party's official once. He even threatened to walk out. What he was doing was building his own brand, his own leverage. He was sending a clear message: I am my own power center, not just some foot soldier for the party.
And all that leverage he built, it became absolutely crucial after the massive 2017 state elections in Uttar Pradesh.
So in 2017, the BJP, riding high on the Modi wave, just crushes it. I mean, it's a historic, absolute landslide victory. But there was one massive, unanswered question. Who was going to be the chief minister?
At first, everyone thought it was a done deal. The guy from the central leadership, the moderate choice, Manoj Sinha, he was the frontrunner. News channels were already reporting it. But then, the political drama kicked in. The state BJP chief, Keshav Prasad Maurya, who was also in the running, basically said, "Not so fast," sensing he was about to get sidelined.
And then, in a pretty stunning political power play, Maurya teams up with Adityanath. With the powerful RSS also backing him, Yogi completely outmaneuvers the frontrunner. The final move? A secret phone call at 6:45 p.m. from the party president, Amit Shah, telling him to get to Delhi. Just like that, the very next day, Yogi Adityanath is named chief minister.
So now he's chief minister. And his political style, well, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a direct reflection of that legacy he inherited from the Mahat, a legacy he then spent years sharpening and perfecting.
The playbook is actually pretty clear when you look at it. He took the foundation of communal politics that was built by his predecessors, Mahant Avaidyanath and Avaidyanath. Then he cranked up the volume on it with the aggressive, on-the-ground tactics he perfected with his Hindu Yuva Vahini. So when you see his focus as chief minister on issues like love jihad or constantly bringing up Mughal rulers, that's a direct continuation of this strategy. It's all about keeping that Hindutva agenda right at the forefront.
So that leaves us with this final, really crucial question to think about. Is the phenomenal rise of Yogi Adityanath just the story of one man's personal ambition and clever strategy? Or is he the inevitable result, the modern-day culmination of a political project that actually began in his monastery almost 100 years ago? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.